Welcome. When Lorelei initially invited me to talk a little bit about what we might do and to explore this idea of sound meditation, I really had to think differently about it because in this virtual format, we have a different but shared experience, right? So our environments, the space that we occupy, is different, but we also come together with this lovely shared experience. And so I think it's a unique way for us to gather. So I'm so grateful for having the opportunity to do so with all of you. So thank you again for the opportunity, and thank you for taking time out of your Friday morning, what is proving to be a very, very windy Friday morning here in Edgewood. So hopefully good old Lobo Internet will continue to work, and we'll stay connected for the time that we share together. So as I like to start all of my classes, let's just find a comfortable seat and just arrive here in this space that we share together, letting go of any effort that it took to get us here today. Feel free to be seated or to lie down, anything that is comfortable for you today. And just arrive. Maybe notice your breath. Check in with how you're feeling today. It's always lovely to just find some stillness in our world and in our days. So as we begin, I would like to share with you something that I heard at a workshop I attended a couple of weeks ago. And this woman said, when we begin to understand that everything around us is frequency and sound, the universe becomes our symphony. The universe becomes our symphony. And I thought that was so beautiful, and how important it is for us to find the stillness and to be more mindful of the sounds that we hear around us. In fact, just a little fun tidbit, and as a musician, I'm always trying to think about what key is that in? What key is that in? And if you didn't know this already, I'll share this interesting factoid. You can use it when you need to find conversation at cocktail parties, and that's the fact that most toilets flush in the key of E flat. So there you go. You're welcome. You can use that. But it goes back to this notion that everything around us is frequency and sound, and our universe becomes a symphony. Sound meditation is a really beautiful way to practice mindfulness because it allows us to become more aware of those everyday sounds that happen around us. And really, mindfulness is just a simple awareness about the present moment. And being mindful of the present moment certainly has an effect on our senses. And so for us today, that sense is our sense of hearing and the sense of sound. Becoming more mindful and more aware of the sounds and the frequencies around us is also a way to cultivate more skillful listening. I certainly need practice in more skillful listening, more active listening. And I think sometimes we might be surprised at the sounds that are around us that we may not often realize or become aware of. So take a moment and just readjust if you need to readjust. Rediscover your breath. perhaps it might feel comfortable to place your palms down with your hands facing up as a way of allowing some gentle receiving of our practice this morning, if that's comfortable for you. And let's begin by relaxing and bringing some softness to our scalp. Maybe inviting some softness to our forehead, to that space between the eyebrows. And whether your eyes are opened or closed, let's bring some softness to the eyelids. Bring some softness to the tongue, to your jaw, maybe even slightly opening the jaw. When we do that, it perhaps just opens the ears a little bit more. Now bring some awareness to your ears. What would it feel like to just relax the ears? Maybe even soften the shoulders. Softening the belly. Softening the legs, the feet. And now in the space that you occupy, focus on one sound. No judgment. It's not a pleasant or an unpleasant sound. Just focus on a sound. Just notice it. Gently hear it. Maybe it comes and goes. Maybe it's a constant sound. Maybe it has a key, like the toilet flushing. So just notice the sound. Now redirect your attention to a different sound. Again, no judgment, just simple awareness, noticing. Maybe it has a cadence or a rhythm to it, maybe not. Now maybe notice a different sound. No attachment to it, no judgment. Just hear it. Maybe it's a sound you've never really noticed before. Maybe it's a sound that you have noticed and that you do pass judgment on. So for now, just hearing it, bringing awareness. Now turn your attention to one other sound. Just gently listening. And now, notice all the sounds around you. Maybe you can notice sounds that you hadn't noticed before. Notice how they blend together. These sounds, the symphony in your universe. Notice how some of the sounds come and go. Where do you hear these sounds? Do you hear them in front of you? Are they behind you? Are they above you or below you? Maybe they're on one side of you or the other. Just noticing with ease. Recognizing that you are in the middle of all of it. The symphony of your universe. Maybe some of the sounds are far away, those beautiful distant sounds. Maybe some of the sounds are very close by. In a recent blog that I read, the author said, "Sometimes we live our lives like ill-taught piano students who simply play the right notes, but never play the music." A lot of musicians will tell you the magic of the music happens in the space between the notes. The magic happens in the color that we add. So as we surround ourselves with all the sounds around us, I'd like you to draw your attention to the silence between the sounds, the space between the notes, in other words. Notice how the silence is what invites the sound. Silence is the place where the sound comes from, and silence is also the place where the sound returns. Can you notice some new sounds coming into your environment? Maybe you even notice a different kind of silence. A quote by Rumi says, "The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear." The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. What more can you hear? What new sound, what frequency has been added to your symphony? Listening with ease, with gentleness, welcoming the sounds of our everyday lives. I'd like to share a chorus of a song with you that I just love. This piece. It was written, I don't know, 20 or 30 years ago by one of my favorite artists, Rodney Crowell. And I think this particular song, this particular chorus, this string of words that he so beautifully put together, really helps to illustrate this notion of the sounds around us being the symphony of our universe, the symphony of our lives. So I'm hoping that the internet will allow this piece to translate. And I invite you to simply reflect on the words thinking about what they mean to you. Somehow I've learned how to listen for the sound of the sun going down, the magic that morning is bringing. There's a song for the life I have found. It puts my feet on the ground. I invite you to join with me in singing that in your own space, either out loud or to yourselves. Somehow I've learned how to listen. Somehow I've learned how to listen for the sound like the sun going down, for the sound like the sun going down, and the magic that morning is bringing, the magic that morning is bringing. There's a song for the life I have found. There's a song for the life I have found. It keeps my feet on the ground. It keeps my feet on the ground. Somehow I've learned how to listen for the sound like the sun going down, magic that morning is bringing. There's a song for the life I have found. It keeps my feet on the I invite you to allow the beautiful everyday sounds to become your symphony. Thank you for practicing with me today. Such a pleasure to be here to start my morning with all of you.